Hi everyone, welcome to this week's technology tutorial for education. And this week we're going to be looking at an application that is called ZipGrade. Now ZipGrade will automatically mark your pen and paper multiple choice answers. So I know there are other platforms out there that will automate quiz marking like your Microsoft Forms and Google Forms and all that sort of stuff. But this is more specifically for those test and exam environments where a student is required to use pen and paper and that they don't have access to a computer. So we can see here it gets really good reviews, 4.6 out of 5 for 4,500 reviews. So again, it's a well-respected application. This is available on iOS and Android. Again, I'm looking at this using my Samsung Note 9, which is an Android platform. So let's have a look at what it looks like. So these are the options you're given from the start. You will have to create an account. Basically, the application is free, and that will give you up to 100 scans a month. Personally, I pay, I think it's $7.95 a year, which gives me unlimited scans. So this means that, you know, if you have multiple classes and they're all doing assessments at the one time, then I can scan 200, 300, 400 answer sheets if I choose to. But you may find you can get by with 100 a month. Now, as you can see, we can set up students and classes and all that sort of stuff. Personally, I don't do that. I just jump straight into the quizzes. The students and classes area will allow you to track your data over time. I have other means of doing that. So previous tutorials, we've looked at spreadsheets that I use to track my student data. So I haven't worried about the students and classes section. You might choose to do so, but for me, I'm going to jump straight into quizzes. So this will bring up a list of the quizzes that you've had in the past. I'm just going to go new quiz, so top right hand corner, new quiz. I'm going to give this quiz a name and we're just going to call this test quiz. The date's there. Now you can see that I can choose a class. I'm not going to associate this with a class as I mentioned a moment ago, but I am going to select an answer sheet. Now, there are 3 specific answer sheets that you can use, and it's important that we use a ZipGrade answer sheet, which we'll find out why in just a moment. I'm doing this for a 20-question form, so I'm going to select that. I'm not going to worry about tags or anything like that. This is easy enough for me to navigate without having to tag things, and then I click on OK. And it brings me up to this sheet here. So this is where I'm going to actually put in the correct answers. So down the bottom here, I'm going to click Edit Key. So this is where I'm going to put all of our answers in. You can see up in the top right hand corner, it's given me the option to scan for answers. So I could pencil these out on one of their answer sheets, scan those answers in, and it will keep them. For the sake of this, I'm just going to select B as the correct answer for all 20. Now you can see as I'm doing this, it's populating the right hand side with how many points it's worth. We can give them more or less points if we choose to, but 1 point would seem normal for most multiple choice quizzes. So now that I've put in my answer key, I'm going to go back, and now I'm ready to scan papers. So this is where the magic happens. So I'm going to push scan papers, and then you see it brings up my thing here. Now before I scan this is what one of the answer sheets looks like. Now you can see these black dots around the outside. That's what I have to align in the squares for this to be able to mark it. And when it does that, it's going to take a picture of the name of the student and it will mark their answers accordingly. This answer sheet, as I said, comes in 20, 50 and 100 varieties. And this is how quickly it will do it. So I'm going to line up these squares and just like that, it's answered it. Now it has told me this student got 2 out of 20. Let's go in and have a quick review. So it's given me the percentage there. We're going to review the paper, and we can see here that it's not only told me which questions were correct with the green, the red tells me which is wrong, and the yellow is actually what the student should have picked. So again, we can see there, it's going to store this for me so that we can see a more detailed analysis there. But when I choose to go back into this quiz, if I go review papers, it will list all my students there and it will have their name, their result, etc. So really quickly again, we're going to go scan papers. I'm just going to scan the same one again. Scan paper, line it up, and just like that, it's telling me again 2 out of 20. Let's go into review. There's all the results again, and we'll go back in here to our review papers, and it's got the name of the student again and all the important information. Now, you'll also note that on this page, when I'm looking at the quiz itself, it starts to tell me what the average, the minimum, the maximum, gives me a standard deviation, tells me how many papers I've graded, etc., etc., etc. So you can see here that in some of my past exams, we've got a much better understanding of how those stats look. So average of 53% there, minimum of 20%, maximum of 100. Standard deviation is 19.7%. And again, when I go in and review papers, it's got all of those through there. It will keep those results for as long as you like. I only upgraded recently to the paid format, or the subscription format of this application, so it's keeping these for me regardless. So really simple to use, really accurate. I tend to find that when I'm doing this, I'm sitting down with a student, so they'll sort of give me their assessment. I sit down with them, I mark it in front of them, we have a quick discussion about what they've done incorrectly, and that's sort of that instant feedback that they want, rather than having to wait for you to sort of take it away, mark it, and get it back to them. So that is ZipGrade, highly recommended, especially if you've got long exams and stuff like that. This is going to save you an awful lot of time. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or come and see me at my desk if you're a Brunswick Secondary College student. Email me, whichever. All right, thank you very much.